Like I said, my name is Melissa Christopher, and I am a premier rank doTERRA wellness advocate. I have a husband named Josiah Christopher. He's a manager at Shields. And I have two sweet little babies, one who you just saw if you joined earlier, Callie Dawn. She's going to be 4 on Saturday. And Cohen Lewis, he was 1 on October 1. So they are the reason that I wake up every morning, right? Just to love on them, to be with them, and they challenge me and teach me that I know nothing about raising children almost every day, but I love growing and learning and being a better person, and they definitely make me that. So they're a big reason why I chose doTERRA in the first place, and Callie, my daughter, is really the reason why I ever got into essential oils in the first place. So why is that? Well, I've been involved in holistic health, or interested in it at least, for nearly 10 years, probably 8 or 9 years. And I started in the chiropractic world. And I didn't know anything about chiropractic. I just started working in that line of work because I needed something else. I went to school for broadcast journalism, and I thought that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I actually loved it. I did. But the industry was really intense, lots of hours, high stress. And I got out for a while because it wasn't grooving with my newly married life and some of the goals I had at that time. I always thought that I'd get back into it, and never, ever in my life did I ever think I'd be sitting in front of a computer on a Monday night in October teaching people how to get involved with a multi-level marketing company. Like, are you kidding me? Multi-level? Like, that's like Amway, right? Nobody does that, right? That's crazy. So that's what I would have said 10 years ago. And now I'm involved in this company realizing, whoa, this is different than anything I've ever experienced or understood about multi-level. And I have had an experience with the product that's involved. So when my daughter was young, about 18 months, like I said, I'd been in the natural world, so I knew a lot about promoting health in the body, but she was dealing with some respiratory issues, some discomfort in her lungs, and her lots of drainage. And as a passy baby, when you're draining, you lose your passy and then you scream, and then mom goes back in there, puts your passy back in, and then 30 minutes later you scream. It's just like nasty. If you've got kiddos, you understand. And so I just was like having a mom moment with a friend of mine who didn't even have kids, but I was like, I don't know what to do. I've gotten her adjusted. She's on good supplements. We're literally doing no sugar. I'm breastfeeding her. I don't know what else to do. Like, I know she'll get better, but I can't handle this window of time waiting for her to get better. She's not sleeping. It's making it worse. And she goes, have you tried oils? I was like, oils? Are you kidding me? I have every oil in my house that you can think of. Coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, essential oils. I was like, I had never heard that word before. So she shared with me an essential oil called Breathe. Anybody have Breathe in their house? Good stuff, right? So I get this. Well, I didn't have a diffuser back then. Now I have like really fancy diffusers. Back then I had a, what are they called? Humidifiers? Dehumidifiers? I don't know the difference, but one of those. It has to be a humidifier, right? And so I just put some of that oil in there, and it kind of worked. Now I realize why it didn't work really well. And then she told me just put some on her upper back and on her feet, and she like literally slept through the night that night. The first time I had ever used essential oils. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just like wiping this stuff on her. I had no idea. And then when she had that result, I was like, what is this stuff? Now all of a sudden I'm skeptical, right? Because I've never seen something natural work so fast and effectively. And so then I'm concerned that I didn't ask enough questions, and I just put a toxic thing on my baby. And so I'm backing up, asking questions. And then I find out essential oils are like from the earth. God gave them to us. And that's just where it all started. So I started with one oil. Now I brought this down for you just for like kicks and giggles. This is like my big old bag, and I've got another box upstairs. So why would I have all those oils, right? Well, I know how to use every single oil in this bag. I know exactly what every single one is known for, what is best, and I literally use all of them. Maybe not every day, but I've been empowered. And now maybe you've seen this on Instagram or social media, little shirts or like mugs or something that says, I have an oil for that. And it's kind of a joke, but actually, like, I have an oil for that. Every time I'm interacting with someone, I'm like, I have an oil for that. And I can't help myself. I'm constantly sharing. So finally, my friend who shared with me with oils originally, she's like, why aren't you doing this as a business? I was like, I don't know. I'm just doing my job at the chiropractic office. Like I've always done work. Like you get scheduled, you go in, you check in, like you clock out, you get paid every 2 weeks. Like I just had never considered anything different than that. And so I finally just said, whatever, I'll do it. And I had no idea of even saying what I had no idea what I was even saying yes to. And now here I am about 18 months later, and I am having the time of my life building my business. I'm actually moving out of my chiropractic job because I'm at a place in my business where I'm replacing my income with the same amount of hours during the week, but they're at home when I want to be at home with my kids. I'm like, today I did 2 hours worth of work while they both took naps. It was glorious. And then they woke up and I shut my book and turned off my phone and went back to life with them. And so, so why doTERRA? Why be involved in a company like a direct sales company? When I first got started, I was like, why do we have to deal with multi-level marketing? Like, why can't we just sell them somewhere? And I've had some recent education on it. And when you think about it, when you come to the marketplace with a new product, you have basically 3 options. You could take your product and you could put it in, like, if it's a health related product, you'd put it in a health food store, right? A little boutique, something like that. Well, when you do that, then you are at the mercy of the employee who's at the counter to be able to educate you on that product. And so doTERRA says, no, we've got a really great product that we're proud of, and we don't want just any entry-level minimum wage employee selling our essential oils. They don't even know how they work and most effective. So the other option is to have practitioners that sell them, right? So doTERRA gets hooked up with all the practitioners. They can create an account, and then they can sell and prescribe the essential oils. Well, like, does any mom want to, like, maybe not even a mom, like, does any human want to set up an appointment, drive across town, maybe to another town, sit in an office, wait to get called in, tell them all that's going on, and they're like, oh, well, lavender essential oil would be best for you. They give you lavender, you go home, you try it, you still have questions, you call back the clinic, like, no, crazy. So doTERRA says, well, why don't we use a direct sales model, but let's not be a direct sales company. Let's just use that model of education. So they have an entire multi-level company of people that are financially invested in making sure that you know how to use your essential oils. So all of the customers and the people that I have underneath me, I am financially invested in making sure that they know how to use their essential oils, because my livelihood is based on them ordering them again in the future. So I think that's an incredible asset to those people. If they have questions, they don't have to feel bad. They text me, they call me, they email me, they come to one of my classes, they get online on my social media, and they get continually educated. And they have someone in their back pocket at any time that they can reach out to. That's really cool. I love doTERRA in the sense that I get to be that person for somebody, and it is what empowers me to keep going. And it's a product-driven company. It's interesting that I'm doing a business, the doTERRA business webinar. This is the 3rd one I've ever done in almost 2 years of building this business. So that just goes to show that finding people to do the business and explaining the business opportunity isn't the big part of doTERRA. 85% of everybody on my tree is a user of the oils. They're just using them. They don't want to sell them. They don't want to teach classes. They don't want to be me. They just want to have these tools in their house. And you know what? That's good. That's good for me. I don't need a whole, what just happened there? I think we're still good, right?
Yep, you're good with me.
I'm just getting like alerts off the wazoo here. So I don't have to, let me see if I'm still recording. I am. Where was I? So I don't have to sell the doTERRA business to every single person I'm interacting to. In fact, the majority of the time, I am just telling people how to use the oils and helping them get them in their home. So have you ever been involved in or been introduced to a multi-level company where the business opportunity was like the big thing? When I was in college, this guy kept like calling me and showing up at my dorm room and like, not to date me, I guess, right? He wanted me to keep coming to this meeting that he had every Thursday night. And so I finally just came to one because I didn't understand what he was trying to do. And it was the business opportunity of this company that he was involved in, a multi-level company. And the whole time he's talking about the business. And at the very end, he's like, oh, and this is what we sell. And it was a way to buy books and other things at a discounted price through like a website or something. It was as if the product really didn't even matter. Just get on board and get involved in the business. Like the product is just our reason to like be able to keep going and make it legal. And I just was so turned off by that. And I don't know if you guys have had those experiences, but I want people to have something in their house that they can use. And that's why I love doTERRA. It's a product driven company. It's not just a business opportunity. Now, is the business opportunity pretty sweet? Yeah, that's why you guys are on this call, because you want to learn more about that. So here's some things that you should know about doTERRA corporately, because if you're going to, let's say you were going out to employ yourself and you put in a resume at some businesses, you'd want to know about that company that you're applying to, right? You'd want to know, are they honest? What is their business technique? All of that. So here's a little bit about doTERRA that I think you should know. There are 7 owners from doTERRA. And yes, the majority of them came from another company that you might be really familiar with. Someone that I know jokes and calls it Old Dying. So I don't want to say their name, but you might be familiar with Old Dying. There are 7 owners, and most of them came from that company. And I just listened to one of them. Emily Wright is one of the founders of doTERRA, and she said there was some integrity issues in that company, and that's actually why she moved over, which I didn't realize. And that story doesn't matter to me. What matters now is that she has literally, her and her 6 other team members have 100 years combined experience in the multi-level marketing industry, and they know how to take care of the people that work below them. And every single time I go through the compensation plans with people and I talk about the things that the company are doing for the wellness advocates below them, people are like, really? That's really generous. That actually kind of surprises me. And I honestly believe it's because there's so many years of experience among them. They know what works and they know how to keep people around. I like that. They also have created a pretty sweet culture within doTERRA. So number one, their products are amazing. Who's using doTERRA products? Like, am I right? What product have you gotten in your loyalty rewards order that you were like, I could take it or leave it? I'm like, no, I take these things with me everywhere I go. There is literally not a product that I have tried yet that I don't love. It's crazy. Where do you go? Like, what company have you bought things from? Like, even stores where I buy like clothes that I love, I try on a shirt and I'm like, I don't know who designed that, but that thing don't work on me, at least, right? And I have not felt that way with the products that doTERRA makes. I love them. They're essential oils. Every bottle smells amazing. Maybe there's a few that take me a little while to get used to just because they're earthy or whatnot, florally, but I love their products. There's a huge emphasis on personal development. I'm not just in a job selling oils. I'm in a whole network of people that want me to be a better mom, that want me to be a better business leader. I'm on calls every month to make me a better person, to develop me personally. And that's really important to me. There's a huge emphasis on that in doTERRA. There is a lot of team collaboration. A few of these people that are on the call tonight are on my team. We're in constant communication and we're building this business together. And I love it. Can you imagine going out and starting a brand new company and just being you and some employees that you hired that you don't know who they are? And it's just you day in and day out. It's up to you to make sure this business works. And that is not how it is in doTERRA. I have so many people that are doing incredibly well in the company, some people that are brand new to the company, but we're all working together, collaborating. I love that. And then the philanthropy, basically the giving back of this. Y'all say that. Come on. Now you're laughing at me. Come on, Stace. How do you say it?
Philanthropy. You said it right.
Philanthropy. All right. The philanthropy of this company. So the giving back is mind blowing. If you haven't spent any time learning about what doTERRA is doing across the globe, you should, because it's mind blowing. I don't know a better word for it. So I'll just tell you one thing. The rest you can all look up, but there is an oil that they just made called Hope Oil. And it is gloriously, oh, it smells so good, you guys. So you'll have to make this blend yourself because you can only get this if you buy the convention kit. So either go on your loyalty rewards and order the convention kit, or make this yourself and figure out the ratios and then tell me what it is. But bergamot, ylang ylang, frankincense, and vanilla. And then it has some fractionated coconut oil in it. This is so uplifting, you guys. This isn't even why I'm telling you this, but oh, I love that oil. Anybody have the Hope oil? Y'all want it now. Don't you wish this was the raffle that I was giving away at the end? Maybe I'll give everyone maybe I'll give out a few drops of it, but so uplifting. I love this. So you know what they're doing with this oil? They're giving it to their wellness advocates when they go to convention or they order a convention kit. But what they're really doing with it is they're taking 1 million of these, 1 million plus, and they're taking them over to countries where we grow essential oils, doTERRA does, and they're giving them out to women and children who they suspect might be caught up in sex trafficking. Are y'all are you in the know of that whole epidemic that's happening in this country? Literally millions and millions of children and women that are still modern day slaves for labor and like sexual things, like just crazy. It's even awkward to say out loud because it seems like it shouldn't be happening, and it is. So doTERRA says like that's a big problem and we want to do something about that. So they've teamed up with an organization called Operation Underground Railroad, and if you want to find their stuff, I know there's a big Facebook link that's going on, so look up Operation Underground Railroad and see what they're doing. I know the mainstream media had a big article on a big bust they did in some developing country where they went in and they literally found like 10-year-old and 11-year-old boys that were caught up in some of the just crazy stuff, you guys. So doTERRA says we're going to take these oils, and we know that the women specifically that are caught up in this are allowed to have things that make them smell good, right? The people that own them say, well, we don't care if you have perfumes and things that smell good. So they know they can have these, they'll get away with these. And what they're going to do is if they peel back this label for directions and cautions, it actually has a phone number and contact information that they can contact to get a hold of someone in Operation Underground Railroad, and they can get out, you guys. Like, how cool is that? Like, what company is doing things like that with their products? I don't know many of them. There was recently a hurricane that went through Haiti. If you're involved in the news, Hurricane Matthew. Well, doTERRA sources a few of their essential oils down there, and they're taking their wellness advocates and the money that they're raising through the Healing Hands Foundation, and they're helping rebuild that country. In Nepal, they built the first primary and secondary school that's earthquake resilient post-earthquake back a few years ago. They're doing that with the money that the wellness advocates are putting on their orders, and I just love that. So I could spend all day talking about that, but I have to stop. We have to keep moving on. So that is the culture that doTERRA has created. I love being a part of a company that I'm not embarrassed about. They're not doing things that make me embarrassed. Like I wouldn't want someone to find out that they're doing that. So let's talk about their financial situation, because that's really important. There's a lot of multi-level marketing companies that hit the ground running, and then 6 months down the road, 2 years down the road, they're gone. Well, why is that? A lot of times those companies have borrowed millions of dollars to get started, and they aren't able to pay back their debts, and they have to close out. Did you know doTERRA is 100% debt-free company? They owe nobody anything. So their stability as a company is really good, and that's really, really important. Their 2015 growth, so 2015, that growth that they did in 1 year was greater than the total global revenue in 2013 of essential oils. So think about every company you've ever heard of in 2013, everything that they sold in that year, doTERRA did itself last year. Crazy. They have become the largest essential oil company in the last 8 years. So doTERRA's only been on the scene for 8 years, and they are already the largest company. Maybe you've heard of other companies. They're not bigger. doTERRA is the biggest, and they've done that in 8 years. They are a top 20 company, and they are in the top 10 of Forbes best businesses to work for, small businesses to work for. Their retention rate, so this is a big thing, right? Your friends get on Instagram, social media, and they're like announcing their launch of their multi-level company, and you're like, are you like me? And you're sitting there thinking, well, number one, I'm going to unfollow them, first of all. And number two, like, I bet they won't be doing that in a year. Like, there's no way they're going to make any money doing that. Like, that is, multi-levels don't actually work, right? Do you know why that is? Do you know why they struggle? Because typically there are about 3% of the population that use multi-level companies. So, I mean, you could name 100 of them. Norwex, Pampered Chef, Amway, Beauty Counter, I don't know, like It Works, like all, like, great, whatever you want to do, that's all right. But only about 3% of the population trusts multi-levels enough to use them. And so a new multi-level company comes on the market, and then it's literally that 3% that moves to the next company, that moves to the next company, that moves to the next company that comes on the scene. And everybody is fighting over those 3% of people that use multi-levels. doTERRA is completely different. You get to a corporate convention setting of people that are doing the doTERRA business and using doTERRA essential oils, and you ask them, have you been involved in a multi-level company before? What was your thoughts about multi-level before you started? And you would be astounded how many people are like me, right? At the beginning of this class, I said, I never in my life thought I would be involved in a multi-level. I guarantee everybody on this, like, is anybody on this call, do you like feel that way? Are there any hands raised? Like, I actually would be embarrassed if my uncle or my aunt knew I was on a call about a multi-level, right? That's how most of us start, and that is really rare in the multi-level industry. So we are tapping into that other 97% that most companies never have access to, and I love that. So think about this, retention. How many customers get started with a company, multi-level, and actually year after year keep purchasing from that company? What is their retention rate? Typically, most MLMs is 10% to 15%. Do you know what doTERRA's is? Anybody want to guess? Unmute yourself and throw it out there. What do you think?
80%.
Yes.
Nice.
75% plus. And it's growing. So it, like a few years ago, it was 65 to 75%. And just this last year, when they re-looked at it, it's literally 75+% of people that every year after year are renewing their memberships with doTERRA. You guys, 75% of your clientele, my husband works at Shields. If they kept 75% of their clientele, which they actually do, they would be a huge company, which they are. Like, that's a big deal in retail at all. So that's why you walk into Shields and you can return anything. You can like return your Walmart shoes practically, and they're like, oh, we'll take them, because retention is so important to them because it's so rare in the retail world. So 75%. The other thing that is really important to consider when you're looking at becoming involved in a multi-level is, are they selling a consumable product? And who in the family, who in the household does it relate to, right? So think about this. I love Pampered Chef. I do. I was just cleaning my stone and my pans like an hour ago. But who does Pampered Chef apply to? Just the cooks in the family, right? My husband doesn't want to go to a Pampered Chef party. He doesn't want to purchase Pampered Chef. My kids don't purchase Pampered Chef. My dogs don't purchase Pampered Chef. I don't have dogs, by the way. But if they did, they would not be interested in purchasing Pampered Chef. Pampered Chef is amazing, right? We love all their products, but they like last forever. So when I buy a doTERRA, when I buy a Pampered Chef stone, I bought one when I got married 8 years ago, and I haven't bought one since. Good stuff, right? Not a consumable product. And it doesn't apply to everybody in the household. Think about it this way. Is it a diet? Who does that apply to in the family? Just the people that want to lose weight? And not your children and not your dogs. And it might be a fad. It might be a diet and exercise plan that in 10 years, nobody is really interested in, and it's completely different. Maybe it's jewelry or fashion. Talk about fad, really good stuff like this Lululemon, whatever. Like, I don't know all about all that. Is it Lululemon? What is it even called? like the leggings and the dresses, like super cute clothes, right? And even part of me is like, man, that'd be really easy to sell clothes. I just like put them on and then take pictures of myself and put them all over social media. But I'm like, are we going to be wearing those clothes in 5 or 6 years? Like fashions change like every year or two. So that's something that you want to consider if you're thinking long-term business strategy. Essential oils have been around for 2,000 years. They bottle them a little bit different now, and they process them a little bit different, but literally we've been using essential oils for 2,000 years, and I guarantee we will be using essential oils in 2,000 more years. And the crazier our healthcare system gets, and the crazier the insurance industry gets, trying to like all this healthcare, nationalized healthcare, essential oils are going to be where it's at, because the more and more people are using medications and not getting results and dealing with the side effects, they're looking for alternatives. I'm listening to it every single day. I meant to grab my, can you hold 1 second? I know this is crazy, but I have to prove this to you. Okay, if you don't believe that essential oils are where it's at right now, go out to your mailbox, because I just did 2 hours ago. Have y'all gotten this in the mail? What is this? Essential oils and an essential oil diffuser. Relax, refresh, restore. An aroma diffuser for $60 and essential oils for $9.99. 100% essential oils. I'm telling you, you guys, if you're getting in a company right now, people are talking about essential oils and they're looking for them. So here's what you should know about. So maybe you're thinking that that actually talks you out of it, because you're saying, well, essential oils are everywhere and everybody has them, right? So they just recently did a poll. Why am I out of breath from running up the stairs? This is ridiculous. Maybe I do need to join an MLM for fitness. Okay, anyway. 60% of the US. So would you say that's a big number or a little number?
Pretty big.
Pretty big. 60%, like way over half. 60% of the US has never used an essential oil. Ever. And half of that number say, if they were asked, they want to try essential oils. So we're talking about 100 million people. 100 million people want to try essential oils and haven't. That's just in the US. That has nothing to do with any outlying countries. So literally in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 50 times growth potential for what we are already seeing in doTERRA. They're everywhere. But you know what? If I walk into Bed Bath & Beyond and I try to buy an essential oil, this is being recorded, so I hope they don't come after me. The employees are not going to know how to tell me what to use. So they've got lemongrass, eucalyptus, lavender, lemon, peppermint, grapefruit. You know what I think I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to go in there and I'm going to ask them how they suggest I use grapefruit essential oil on my children. And what do you think they're going to say?
They're not going to know.
I don't know. Have you looked online? Okay, so what you have in doTERRA is an opportunity to take people who want to try essential oils and actually properly educate them. And it is awesome. So I don't care if people are using other brands, other companies, they're getting them out of Bed Bath & Beyond or Target or Hy-Vee, because I know they haven't tried my essential oils, and I know they have not been educated how to use them. And that goes a long way. People want someone to walk alongside them and educate them, and that gets to be me. So more than just oils, I went through that. Healing Hands Foundation, co-impact sourcing, that's giving high wages and sustainable sources to the countries that we're working with. So there are dozens and dozens of developing countries that doTERRA is working with to source their oils, and they are paying those farmers a fair wage, and they are making sure that they're taken care of for all of time. So Bed Bath & Beyond, $9.99, eucalyptus, 100% pure therapeutic grade essential oil. That's not coming from an indigenously sourced country. And if it is, shame on them, because they are not, there's no way you can sell something for $10 retail markup and actually pay those farmers a fair wage. So know that this company is doing that. Now, let's talk about timing. I had talked a little bit about it. 66% of the US has not used essential oils. Half of them want to try them. So think about what that means for you and where you want to be in 5 years. So there's this concept of buckets versus pipelines. Has anybody heard that before? I know some of you I've shared it with. Yeah. So there is a story about a man who lived in a village, and his job was to go from the top of the mountain down to the bottom of the mountain where the water source was. So the community lives at the top of the mountain, and the water source is at the bottom, right where the river is. So every day his job is to leave his community at the top, walk miles down to the bottom of the hill, fill up his buckets, throw them over his shoulders, right, and walk them back up the hill. And every time he delivers a bucket, he gets paid. And let's say he gets paid $10 an hour. Maybe that's what you're working for right now. So $10 an hour. For him to make more money, what does he have to do? Carry more buckets down the hill and back up. Buckets down the hill, back up. If he wants to make even more money, then he has to carry more buckets, and maybe faster and maybe longer. And how does he make more money? I know I feel like I'm repeating myself. He continues to carry buckets. There's no other option for him until one day he says, what if I built a pipeline that went from my community down to the water source? And it actually just took the water and like funneled it up to the community. That would be a residual income for me. I would still get paid because the end result is the community gets water, but I don't have to carry buckets anymore. So what I want you to consider is, have you created a pipeline for yourself, or will you carry buckets for the rest of your life? Where are you at in your current position, in your current job? If you're like me, you love your job, right? I love it. I love my job. I've worked there for 8 years. But if I want to make more money, I have to spend more time, more hours away from my kids. So I used to work 40 hours a week, and I made pretty good money. And then I went down to 20 hours a week because I didn't want to be away from my kids for 40 hours, and I didn't want to pay daycare for 40 hours. So then I make less money. And then I'm down to 12 hours, and now I'm working 10 hours. And I'm realizing if I ever want to get back up to what the money that I was making, I have to work more hours. And I'm in a place where I'm like, I want to be home with my kids, and I want to take them to the zoo, and I want to go to the grocery store when I want to go to the grocery store, not at 6:30 at night when I'm dog tired. I want to go on a Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. And by the way, on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, there's nobody at the grocery store. Really awesome. So that's important to me. And so as I started thinking about this, I thought, I'm in a field I love. I'm doing what I'm passionate about. But in 5 years, what am I making? And is it all about money? No, but we're going to talk about money for just a minute. In 5 years, at the position that you are, where will you be? Like, even if you max out at the top of your company, what would you be making? And then what would be required of you to be at that level in your company? Would there be more stress? Would there be more hours? Would there be more responsibility? And would you still feel fulfilled? Would you still love your job? That's something that you should consider. The other thing I want you to consider is the statistics of the money in the US. So at the age of 50, maybe you're at that age, maybe you're not even close, but consider yourself at the age of 50. The average savings of a 50-year-old person is $42,000. Now, if you're like me, you're like, dang, that's a lot of money. $42,000. How far does $42,000 go in retirement? 6 months of expenses for my family is $13,000. So basically, yeah, that's like 4 years of living. And that's like with no travel, no cable, no internet. Like, that's like our bare minimum. What does it cost for us to live? So consider that 75% of people, maybe this is you, have less than $5,000 saved. $5,000, you guys. Like, that's okay if that's where you're at, because I was at that place at one point, but to not be at that place and to have that financial security is a really big deal. So what is your plan? What's your plan for 5 years? What's your plan for 15 years? Are you in the mindset that I grew up in, that you work and 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 work till you're 65 and then you can retire? when you're 65 and all of your kids are gone and you're like just starting to get grandkids, and you probably have even had grandkids for 10 years potentially, and you're still working, carrying buckets, right? To make more money, you have to carry more buckets. Well, I'm telling you, there's an opportunity for a pipeline. It's just whether or not it's a good opportunity for you, if it makes sense for you, and if you are excited about it. So think about this quote is really good. Most people are skeptical about what I do because we've been taught to look for jobs, not opportunities. So I've vision casted, I've thought about what my future could look like in doTERRA, because I have a lot of friends that are in my upline that are making very big money in doTERRA. And so naturally you're like, start thinking about that. What would you do with an extra $1,000 a month? Like, would you know what you would do with that? And I'm like, are you serious? I'll write it down right now. Who's writing me that check? I know exactly where $1,000 a month would go, right? What about $2,000 a month? What would you do with that money? Do you know where you'd spend it? $5,000 a month. So we're sitting here and he's going through these numbers and I'm like, dude, I have a house. My kids are going to get married. I hope, like, they're going to go to college. Like, he went all the way up to $20,000 a month. And I'm like, oh, well, think about that. How many months at $20,000 a month do you have to be making before you're like, I'm not quite sure what I do with that money anymore. And for the first time, he said, so after 6 months of making $20,000 a month, your house is probably paid off. You've got a decent amount in savings. Like, what are you going to do with that money? And for the first time in my mind, I started thinking about everybody else, right? What were you thinking about as I was going along? 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. Were you thinking about all the people in Africa that have no money? Were you thinking about the sex trafficking industry? Were you thinking about Nepal and Hurricane Matthew victims? And were you thinking about your neighbors down the street that, no, maybe you're a better person than I am, but I wasn't. I was like, oh, I'm going to pay off debt. I'm going to have an incredible wedding for my daughter who's 4, and I'm like planning her wedding, right? And for the first time when I started talking about that major money, I was like, I have a friend named Kristen, and she took a lot of time to raise money to go down and do a discipleship training. That'd be so sweet if I just wrote her a check and she could just go do that and not worry about that. And I have this friend named Carrie, and every year she loves to go to Jamaica, and she can only go for 10 days or 7 days because it's a lot of money to raise and it's time away from her job. And I'm like, what if I just wrote her a $5,000 check and was like, take time off, go down and love on those babies and like figure out how you can bring them back for me? What if I did that? Like, how awesome would that be? That's why I'm in doTERRA. Yes, do I want to pay off my debt? Do I want to have a residual income? For sure. But I want to push so hard that I make money that for the first time in my life, I can be countercultural and give away what I have. And that really excites me. So if that burns in you a little bit, do you know that doTERRA takes a lot of their wellness advocates and they take them down to all of these countries where we source a lot of the oils, and they do they fix up bikes and they give them away to Guatemalan kids, and they go out. They're the ones that are building these schools out in Nepal, the wellness advocates. So you get going in this company and you're going to have incredible opportunities to give back. And that is really exciting. So what's your plan? What does it look like? Does it look like what I'm doing? And that's working with like-minded people all the time. Have you ever used the term preaching to the choir? Every time I get on the call to talk with my leaders, I am preaching to the choir, and I love it. I'm like, dude, just use ylang today in the diffuser. And they're like, right? They're not like, ylang. That sounds dangerous. I don't know if I would be diffusing that. Haven't you heard that actually, like, right? It's fun. I get to work with people that are in my choir, that are like-minded with me. They want a better life for their family. They want a better life for their community, and they want to empower other people to have that. Like, that is so incredibly enjoying. Do you love going to work and working with your coworkers? I like my coworkers, but I love my doTERRA team. I love them. When I'm like, I got to call Carrie Fods today. That'll be fun. That's literally what I'm thinking. I think I get to go and have lunch with Abby Thomas today. Can't wait to do that. She might leave me halfway through and not pay for her bill, but it's still going to be fun, right? You're muted. All right. So that is what it looks like for me. Being at home, working while my kids nap, having a call while my husband puts my kids to bed and finishes up supper after bath time. Like, you're hilarious. I was laughing. I thought it was fun. That's what my job looks like. And that's really exciting. Is it running your own schedule? Man, I am tired of someone telling me when I have to clock in and clock out. If I wake up one day and I just don't feel 100%, I want to go back to bed. And then I want to reschedule what I can't do that day to another day because I can. And I love that about this opportunity. So what kind of person can build a doTERRA team? I have a few thoughts. So I want you to consider if this sounds like you. I'm going to find my notes here. So these are the kind of people that I'm looking for to join my team. Because honestly, if you're on here and you have any skepticism and you're not sure if that sounds like you, that is okay. And to be honest, I don't want to convince you to build a doTERRA business because I want to acquire. And I want to be in it with the people that want to be in it. And if it's not you, it won't work long term anyways. And so this is just an exploratory. Let's take a look and see if this is something for me. But if it is, these are the kind of people that I am looking for. A positive person. Someone that every time something comes into their place, they have a way to positively see it and see the world. Someone says, I'm not interested in oils right now. And they say, oh, well, they will be because it's just a matter of time until they get enough education. They'll love the oils. Or they're like, oh, you're in a multi-level. And they're like, darn right I am. I've got a multi-level organization of people that want me to do well and are financially invested in making sure I know how to use the oils. I love people like that. That's who I want on my team. Are you motivated? Are you like, what's the rank I need to hit to make this? Like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. I love working with people like that are like, no matter what comes in my way, I'm going to do it because it's important to me. Are you entrepreneur minded? Have you ever considered just doing something for yourself? Like, or do you have a niche that you're involved in? Do you sew or bake, or like, did you run a lemonade stand when you were a kid? That's what I want to know. Because then you are an entrepreneur. You had an idea, you thought it was the best ever, and you're literally willing to set up some shack table on the corner of a street and wave signs like a crazy person to make 10 cents. You're an entrepreneur. I want you on my team. Anybody have a lemonade stand? You know what I actually did as a kid? We drew pictures and we sold those pictures along the street. Like, who doesn't want to get a picture from a 4-year-old and pay $1 and hang it up on your fridge? Like, that's what I did growing up. Now, did I know I was an entrepreneur when I started doTERRA? No, but it's slowly becoming a reality to me because I realize how excited I get about the potential of working for myself and creating this legacy, this chapter of time that maybe I could even pass down to my kids someday. So are you responsible? You work for yourself in doTERRA. And while we have a team and you have leaders and people that are helping you and coaching you and mentoring you, ultimately, like when you wake up in the morning, it's up to you whether or not you're going to build your business today. It's up to you whether or not you're going to follow up with somebody who said they wanted to learn more. It's up to you to put samples together and carrying them around and be personable with people and share. It's up to you. Do you want to make a difference in the world? Do I talk about the hope oil and you're like, dude, I want to deliver those to those women? Like, you want to make a difference in the world. If you're like, I want to go to Nepal and build a school, or I want to impact even my local neighborhoods. I want to give away, maybe I want to get certified in the aroma touch technique with essential oils, and I want to give it to new moms that are super stressed and under immune compromise situations. Like, I want to love on them. If you want to make a difference in this world, whether it's the person next to you or huge global impact, this is a company that you will love, and I want you on my team. And do you have an established niche like I was talking about? Is there something that you already do really well that you can pair with your doTERRA business? Are you already known as the DIY queen? Like, you need essential oils because they go hand in hand. And now when you do your DIY world, you bring essential oils along with, and you show people how to do it together. Are you, what do you do? What are you good at? And do essential oils work well with that? I'm telling you, they impact every family member in the entire house, including your animals. Everybody can use essential oils. I have a woman on my team. She's not married, no kids, 40 years old, lives in Sioux Falls, and she buys more oils than anybody else on my team. Why is that? Because she uses oils for her nieces and her nephews and her coworkers and her animals and herself. Like, it doesn't matter who they are. They can use essential oils and they can get results. So here's something I want you to consider. If you're persistent, you'll get it. So if you persist after something, you're constantly persisting, you want it bad, you'll get it totally. And you could be persistent towards this job and you would get it, but can you keep it? Here's the next line. If you're consistent, you'll keep it. If you're persistent, you'll get it. If you're consistent, you'll keep it. Are you a consistent person? If you're not, are you willing to be coached in a way that would keep you consistent? Because I guarantee if you would give yourself 2 years and a little bit of money and some consistency, you could be anywhere you want in this company. I guarantee it. So what does it look like day to day to be working in doTERRA? There's 4 things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. For the first year, all I did was work 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those are the only days that I had daycare. And it was only for like 2 to 3 hours a day. So maybe 6 hours a week total is all I worked on my doTERRA business. But I did these 4 things: educate, enroll, follow up, and repeat. Educate, enroll, follow up, repeat. Educate, enroll, follow up, repeat. And you do that over and over. So what does educate look like? Teaching a class. What are essential oils? They don't know that at Bed Bath & Beyond. They don't even know where they got those. And to be honest, I would bet money those are not pure oils. I would bet money those are not pure oils. So what are essential oils? You could teach that in a class. You could have 100 people there. You could invite your entire neighborhood. You could invite your best friend, and you could enroll your best friend, and then you could meet with your next person that you met along the way, and then you can meet with your mailman, and then you can meet with your hairstylist, and then you can meet with your insurance person. Like the places where you're doing your life and you're sharing your essential oils and you educate them and you teach them, the next step is moving them into an enrollment. Do you know why a wholesale membership is the best way to buy essential oils? Do you understand the loyalty rewards program and why doTERRA gives literally over $1 million every year away to their wellness advocates just for ordering? If you don't, I'll teach you, because that's all I know, and that is what's helped me build my team. I know what essential oils are. I know why every person in the world should have them. I know how to use them, and I know why a wholesale customer account is the best way to buy them. So I educate. Maybe that's teaching a class. Maybe it's one-on-one. Maybe it's in a business. Maybe it's a workshop. Maybe it's a make and take. Do you know how easy it is to share these oils, you guys? You can go to a health food store and buy little dried rose petals and buy some little empty roller balls and fill them up and drop some rose petals in there and make a perfume and send a perfume out to every person on Facebook every time they have a birthday. Be like, hey, I was thinking of you. There's a really good perfume. Did you know perfumes are actually toxic, cause cancer? This one is 100% pure and natural and it smells amazing. Holler back at me if you want the recipe. Like, is that salesy? No, that's like, I would love to get a perfume in the mail from someone that knew it was my birthday. So that is how easy it is to share. I throw a bunch of lemon, lavender, and peppermint in my purse, these tiny little drams. And someone's like, man, I didn't sleep well last night. And I was like, hey, you should take this home and try it. Rub it on your feet and your pillow. I'll call you in a couple days and see if you like it. And then you call them in a couple days and they're like, dude, I just slept better than I've ever slept in my life. What did you give me in that bottle? And I'm like, oh, let me tell you about a wholesale account with doTERRA. It is so easy, you guys. Lemon, hey, you should drop that in your water. It'll help you have more regular urinary tract health. And they do it and they get results and they love it. That's what I love about doTERRA. They get results with the gifts that I give them and it becomes a gift. I've never sold a darn thing. That got dangerous there. In my life. I was like, recording. I've never sold anything in my life. And the greatest compliment that I hear is, hey, I went to your class and it didn't sound like you were selling anything. And I'm like, awesome, because I wasn't. I love these products. I've seen how they work in my life, and I know why a wholesale account is the best way to get them. So I just was sharing that with everybody. And if they enroll, awesome. And if they don't, maybe it was their first touch and they just need a few more before that actually happens. There's no selling involved. I'm sharing. I don't want any salespeople on my team. If you're really good in sales and you're a salesperson, I actually am like, no, like, try something else. I want someone that's just real, that loves the oils and wants to share with their friends because that's where it's at. And then follow up. Maybe that's over the phone. Maybe it's in person. Maybe it's another class. Maybe it's through social media. Maybe you do a regular email, Carrie's tips. Like, that's awesome stuff that just keeps people constantly engaged, learning about new oils, new recipes that they can use. And it's easy and it's something that you love. And then repeat it. So there's one bonus. And that's finding other people who want to join you in this opportunity. I challenge you, if you're like even slightly motivated or considering this, like if you're still on this call, I've been going for an hour, like there's something that's intriguing you. Either that or you're just super nice and you don't want to click your phone off, but there's something that's intriguing you. I dare you, call up your top 5 friends and say, hey, I'm considering the doTERRA business. Have you ever heard of essential oils? Do you want to learn more? Would you ever consider doing this with me? Like, what would it be like if we did a business together and I worked with you and we both benefited off of how successful we are? Like, I would be shocked if you didn't even have at least 1 or 2 people that were like, I don't know, I'm interested in learning more. That's what's happened to me. I haven't sold the business opportunity to anybody. I've just said, hey, have you ever considered the doTERRA business? And they're like, well, yeah, actually I have. Tell me more about it. And that is really sweet. And I don't really need to ever find more than like 3 to 9 builders in my entire career with doTERRA. This is not, let's find 1,000 people that want to do the doTERRA business. That's not how this multi-level works. It is, how many people need essential oils in your life? How can I get them to them? And how do I continue to educate them so that they become a customer long-term? That's how you make this happen. So compensation, how do you actually get paid with doTERRA? I don't want to spend a lot of time on that today because it can be really complicated until you really understand all the ins and outs. And most of you are on here just for kind of a brief understanding of what's going on. But know that there are 5 ways to be paid by doTERRA. And if you've been involved in a multi-level company before, I would love to see your compensation plan, because I can guarantee you that doTERRA's is better. And I don't just say that because I have been financially invested in it. I'm telling you that because I've heard that from other people that look through this and they go, that's how it works? Oh, that's interesting. And you make money off of that and that and that. Yep. I make money off of people that enroll with accounts. I make money off of just the structure of how I place people on my team. I make money off of a percentage of everybody under me that's ordering regularly. I make money off of the ranks as I increase in doTERRA, and I make money off of profit sharing. So once I get to a certain level, I get to start making between 1 and 2% of the profit of the entire doTERRA company, which I told you is the largest essential oil company in the world right now, and literally made more in 2015 than every company did in 2013. So that's pretty cool. So I can make money off of people buying from my website. I can make money off of people enrolling for the first time. In fact, I'm going to make 20% off of everything that they purchase in the first 60 days. I can make $50 bonuses, $250 bonuses, and a $1,500 bonus every single month for just the structure that I have set up on my team. I'm telling you, those are really bonuses to get every single month. And then there is a percentage organizational bonus. So I think there's a lot of, what is the word? Like, I don't know what the word I'm thinking of, but when you start talking about what you're making, did y'all grow up like not talking about what you made? Like my parents would not tell me what they made. Like it was not kosher to be like, oh, I make this every year. Like nobody in my world did that. So for me to sit here and be like, let me be open and honest with what I'm making and what the people that I work with are making, it's awkward. And so I don't want to share anything out loud just because this is a recorded call. But to be honest, I think anybody who's considering this business deserves to know what we're actually making. Don't you always wonder that? You see these people doing multi-level and you're like, but what are you actually making every month? And what did you have to put in to make that money? I want to be totally open and honest with you. So if that's something you want to learn more about, let's talk one-on-one. I actually have seen the income spreadsheets for the people, myself and obviously, and then the people above me. And I'm telling you, the money is all the way up to $16 to $18 to $100,000 a month. And these aren't people that are posting all over their Facebook, like literally a picture every minute of what they're doing. They're just real. They're in their mom's groups, and they're in their church, and they're in their library and chiropractic office and dentist, and they're just sharing what they're doing in their life and the results that they're getting, and they're helping people get their wholesale discount. That's all they're doing, and they're literally building the network and the like empire of their dreams, and it's really exciting. So the unique structure that doTERRA brings to the table allows you to make way more money than you ever dreamed possible. And it's real money. It's not made up stuff that they just put on social media for you to consider. doTERRA is a very generous company, and they've literally not even created a cap of income. There are people that have gone to the very top rank, which is called Presidential Diamond, and then they've gone and they've started a whole new tree and gone all the way up to Presidential Diamond again. They're called double Presidential Diamonds. And doTERRA has committed to saying, if you want to keep doing that, redoing the structure, there's literally no limit to how much you could be involved. So is there a cap in the business that you're in right now? There was in mine. I was at the very top, and in 5 years, I don't know if I'd be making more than an extra $5 an hour, and that would be a crazy raise if in 5 years I was making an extra $5 an hour. So think about this. How many hours a week could you commit to your doTERRA business right now? Is it just 2? Is it 3? Is it 5? Let's say all you were going to do is commit 5 hours a week to your doTERRA business. I guarantee you could grow a business in 5 hours a week. And what would you make if you had to take that time away from what you're currently doing? $50, $60 is what you would lose from working 5 hours in your other job. And I'm telling you, you could make exponentially that. If I teach one class and enroll one person with a home essentials kit, I make $45. I encourage you to teach classes that are 45 minutes long. In 45 minutes, you can make $45, and then that person gets oils that helps them get their health results, and then you get to follow up with them and be in a relationship for as long as you want to be or they want to be. Like, I'm just telling you, if money is a reason not to do it, it is every reason to do it, because where are you going to be in 5 more years? Are you going to be in a better financial place? Like, so in 5 years, let's say you invest in doTERRA and you do it. Where are you going to be? You could be all the way to the top. In 4 years, that's a typical timeline for hitting diamond rank in doTERRA. 18 months, a year and a half is about the average timeline to hit silver. And you know what? I'm literally edging silver, and I've been in it just over 18 months. It's pretty sweet to see it and like read it on the paperwork and then watch it with your own life. So 18 months, can you give 18 months to hit silver level? Could you give 2 years to hit gold? Do you have 2 years that you could just say, I'm willing to just commit 2 years and try it? If you're not making your money back in 2 years, if you're not loving what you're doing, then it probably isn't for you. And 2 years, I don't know, could you do it? Is 2 years worth committing to? So what does it actually cost as a startup? So if I had a brick and mortar business that I was going to go start selling perfumes, maybe I make my own perfumes, I would have to pay for the building, I'd have to pay for the rent, I'd have to pay for the employees, I'd have to pay for insurance potentially, I'd have to pay for all of my product in stock, like literally tens of thousands of dollars to go and start a business. Do you know what it costs to start a doTERRA business? $150 a month. And the top people in doTERRA, what are they spending every single month in their business? About $150. It costs $100, 100 PV every single month that you have to order to be involved in doTERRA. And all of that product is for you. This bag full of oils is just like me build. That's what it costs for me to build my business. And now I get to take all those products and use them for myself and my family and increase the health of my family. So in 2 years, let's say you put $150 away every single month for 2 years investing in your doTERRA business. We're talking $3,600. $3,600, 2 years, that's your risk for getting involved. What do you think? And that $3,600, let's say in 2 years you spent $3,600 and you still weren't making any money, you still are walking away with $3,600 with a product. That's your biggest loss. I don't know. That was really convincing for me up front. And now to be involved in it and see it, it's a good thing. So what are you going to be making in your job in 5 years? And are you going to be fulfilled? It's not all about the money, you guys. It is not all about the money. The money is important. We have to talk about it, right? It's what makes this universe run. But are you going to be fulfilled? So there's no pressure with anything involved here. Is this right for you? That's all you want to ask yourself. Do I want to be involved in personal growth? Do I want to increase some financial stability? Do I want to lead a team? Do I want to be involved, be mentored and mentor others? And do I want a home full of health tools? Do I want an entire bag full of the doTERRA new spa line, body scrub, body butter. What a terrible drawback to this business. I had to purchase this detoxifying mud mask. Man, it's just awful. I hate it. The Citrus Bliss lotion that smells like heaven, had to purchase that this month. You know what I mean? Like this is what I do for a living and I love it. And then I try this and I'm like, I'm going to post a picture of this online of me and my mud mask. And then I have 3 friends that are like, hey, where'd you get that mud mask? How do I get it? It's just so easy, you guys. It's so easy. Now, will it take work? Totally. Because you're in an industry of $9.99 essential oils that people think are healthy. And so there is a level of education that takes time and effort, and there's follow-up, and you have to be your own boss, and you have to be committed to that for sure. But like, what's next for you? What's next for you? What is your plan? That's what I want to leave you with. So if you are even intrigued for a second about this business, there are a few steps that you should consider. Number 1, do you have a wholesale account? Are you getting oils at a wholesale discount? Even if you never build the doTERRA business and you never sell an essential oil, you can still get my discount. And that is a sweet, sweet thing about doTERRA. If you work in other companies, your friends are coming and paying an expensive price for a product that may be even worth it, but then you're making the difference off of wholesale and retail. My friends don't pay me to do this business. doTERRA pays me to do this business. I love that. They get the same discount as me, whether they're going to teach it, sell it, or just use it in their closet and not let a single person know. That's really important. You have to have a wholesale account to be involved in the business clearly. And then you have to be able to commit to at least $100. I always recommend between $100 and $150 every single month towards your doTERRA business. That's the next step. So the person that invited you to be on this call, they think that this might be a potential for you. So reach out to them and ask them more questions. I'm going to, and then let's get involved. Let's get you started. There's a lot of leaders on my team that are at a place in this business where they need to start sponsoring people underneath them. That means you have someone that is going to be enrolling people that are going to place them on your team for you to make bonus off of and money off of. That means that if you start building this business, you're going to help the person that enrolled you. Maybe that's your daughter. Maybe that's your best friend. Maybe that's your neighbor, your cousin, your family member. It's pretty cool to make an impact. My mom is on my front line. Every time my mom does work in her doTERRA, she supports me. And it's so encouraging and it's awesome. And I love being able to give to her business and give her stuff. And she's like, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, you're my mom and you're my business partner. Like, here's a Citrus Bliss lotion for you. Thanks for having that class last week. It is fun and I love it. So that's what you want to do. Get your oils, get a wholesale account, get on the loyalty rewards program, ordering at 100 PV every month. And then I want to get you in touch with my leaders. If you want to talk with someone that's actually making $16,000 a month, like her name is Callie Kenny. She's one of my best friends. She loves the Lord. She's an incredible woman. Like, she'll chat with you and she'll literally send you her spreadsheet of what she's making every month. And she's given 35% of it to her church every year. Like, these aren't people that are taking this money and driving around in pink cars. Like, our company is not saying, hey, let's make a bunch of money, then let's put you in a pink car and you drive all the way around town. Let's put you in a huge mansion and then say, oh yeah, you guys are rocking your business. They're saying, no, make a bunch of money, take care of your family, and then give it away. Free to give, right? Are you in a position where you're free to give right now? I'm not. I just got contacted by another person who's doing campus ministry in South Dakota, and she wants me to start giving to her. And I'm like, God, I'm already giving to 2 other missionaries right now. I want to, but I don't have the finances. And I literally said, this is why I'm in doTERRA. This is why I want to build it, because I want to help you long term. And the first time when I feel like I can give, you're going to be the first on my list. And I'm just going to start making a list, and I'm going to be free to give, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to give God the glory the whole time, because he's the only one that's going to make this happen in my life. And I'm grateful for the opportunity that I was given. And it all started with a tiny little sample of Breathe essential oil that I didn't even know how to use, you guys. And now here I am chatting with all you beautiful women that I'm so grateful to have an opportunity to learn from. So I want to give away a few of my diffuser blends. So like candy corn or apple pie or pumpkin spice or whatever you want. So in order to enter, you have had to put your name on here, a city where you live, the city where you live, and then your favorite essential oil. You have to follow me on Instagram. So that's at Melissa Christopher. If you don't have Instagram, I'll let you slide a little bit, but that's where you'll find all those blends so that you can decide which one you want. And then I'm going to hit the end of the recording here.